Dokkan Battle, a mobile game that's been out for over a decade officially. And within that decade, it's released a lot of units. And there's been a lot of bangers. There's been some misses. And today we will be going over the top 10 of those misses. Well, I guess more like bottom 10, but you get what I mean. So we start off with number 10. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta, and Goku. This unit came out and immediately, category was like, oh, category's fine. As you can see on screen, passive was just kind of like, okay, no defense, but I mean, raise attack, what's the passive? And then you see the passive and you're like, oh, so like, is he supposed to live if they attack him? Because he came out in 2022, and I don't know if you guys happen to remember, there was a little event called Red Zone came out in 2022 along with the 7th year anniversaries. And if you guys happen to know, bosses happen to be hitting for the super attacks for 1.2 million and up. So you will get to stage 3, even if you transform into Vegeta, which you can see his super attack effect is like he raises defense. You can look at this passive. He ain't tanking no 1.2 million worth of damn. This unit, even if fully built up, 200%, max level links, yada, all the bells and whistles. What's he at? Like 700k maximum? So what's he taking for Broly? 500,000 per on the super? Like it wasn't kind of, even when it came out, it was like, oh, good leader skill, but this unit can't. There's nothing on this passive that's like, it's unit's gonna take some super. Normals would be like, ugh, super attacks out of the question. And the problem is, you need the premium Dokkan units that come out to be able to withstand the super attacks. That's why they're premium, because they should be able to live the super attacks. Free to play units, their objective, their goal is just to survive normal attacks. Dokkan exclusive units need to be able to survive supers, because if they can't survive supers, then no one can survive them super attacks. I'm just saying. But yeah, no, this unit came out and it was just kind of like, oh, they're a unit. They are a unit. But they're ranked number 10 because they're not as bad as number 9 on the list. Super Saiyan Trunks Teen. Oh. Look at that leader skill. Look at that super attack effect. Oh, you can work with this exchange condition, the transformation condition. Not that terrible. The active skill, a Ghost Usher. Oh no, this one only once, but I guess, one attack Ghost Usher. What is it again? The skill nullification. Yeah. Let's get like, okay, you can work with this. Okay, isn't bad. And then you get to his passive. Oh, baby. The moment it said 3 or more Android / Cell Sagas, which means 2 other ones, it was like, yep, it's over. Because at the time, the Zamasu and, future SDR, future Gohan and all that, they weren't out. Were they out? Hold on. So they came out. It came out January 2024 for global. So he would have been out. He came out earlier on JP. He came out August on JP. So before, it's on global. Even when he came out, still wasn't that good. On JP was worse because he didn't even get the support yet because he came out before the Zamasu and all that. But even when he came out on JP, you can go watch the Truth's video on it. And it was hilarious. So you could all read the passive. We can all see. It's on the screen. The fact he's not guaranteed guarding is atrocious. His passive at the best, he's at like 500k defense. If he super attacks, if you get lucky, you get 3 super attacks. He's at a whopping like 600, 700k. If he's not guarding, it's over. It's dead. So it's a 50% chance he either just dies or he has you on critical HP. That was fine. I mean, granted, the only reason you ran him was because of his transformation, Super Trunks to super attack effect, guaranteed crits. Love it. I mean, of course, it was great. Guaranteed crits, great. Ghost Usher, oh my god, that Ghost Usher was crazy. Came out, his passive, guaranteed guard, big stats. Oh, guaranteed additional super. Oh, it was so worth it. But before you got into Super Trunks, oh, it was rough. Oh, it was so rough. It was so bad. And that's why he's number 9. And it's not exactly like he's aged with fine wine either. And speaking of age, a character that was aged the day they came out at number 8, Android 17, Hellfighter 17. Now, their categories are Joined Forces and Target Goku, and also androids, right? This unit was a Dodge or Die character. Came out 2023. JP2, did he come out in 2022 for JP? I'm mostly focusing on the global side of things, even though I should be focusing on JP. But since I played the global version, I kind of keep more tracks of the global version. It's just easier for me. This unit came out. So, Joined Forces are Target Goku. Joined Forces at the time, even in 2023, was okay. It was okay, I think, at the time. So it would have been 20. I might have been okay. I can't remember Joined Forces. I mean, I could look it up right now, but I'm not going to do that. In Target Goku, that was in a rough spot. I can tell you in 2023. That was in May, because that was before Cooler came out. Yeah, Cooler came out in 2023, because 2023 is when Cooler came out. So before this unit came out, it was real rough everywhere, all around. Terrible categories. Plus the androids, none of the androids really had their EZAs either. It was rough. So you got the passive, stacks attack, raise defense for 1 turn. If he stacks attack, cool, great, love that. Raises defense 1 turn, that's cool, great, love that. And then his transformation skill, 5 turns, 70% or less. That's a transformation skill they definitely put on a character. Now, why did they put it on? I don't know. It was a terrible condition the day it came out. Don't know. But then we get to his passive. You read his passive and you very quickly realize, okay, so like, what's his super attack at after he supers? What, 500,000? Okay, cool. So he can't take a normals, and it's 2023 in the year of our Lord and Savior. And Dokkan, the red zones, they came out with new ones. And guess what? They hit harder. I know, shocking, right? Because by this time, on JP, the 8th anniversary would have came out, and the red zones were hitting much fucking harder. So I don't know how you were supposed to survive with this character, which is why they were a dodge or die character, which, chance of performing a critical hit and chance of evading. 70% within the turn for every attack performed. So you essentially needed them to launch every fucking super attack they could, which, I mean, they could launch Thor? It's like you had a 64% chance of dodging. That's decent, but that isn't high enough to be out here like, okay, we live. So you're assuming once they transform, they're better, like Super Trunks. Super Trunks transformed, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, he's a beast, he's reasonable. So they transform into Super 17. And I don't know what this game is obsession with fucking this character over, but God, they love it. So super attack effect greatly raises attack and defense. Okay, good super attack effect. Greatly lowers defense. I mean, depending on this time, it could be useful. So big stats. He gets damage reduction. And he gets some attack. But you'll notice he only starts off with 170,000 defense, or 170,000% defense. So you could let's be generous. You could say with his Link's passive, 180, 190, 200,000 defense. With about, if my math is not off, around 51% damage reduction in 2023. Ooh, you will notice a bit of a problem there was he gets defense upon being attacked, and he needs 10 attacks. 10 attacks is a long time, and his transformation conditions are 5 turns, which means even in red zone, you're on turn 5, you're probably on the second to last phase, which means you put him in slot 1 to get a bunch of fucking attacks, but he can't take any fucking attacks because he needs to get attacked to be built the fuck up. So you get a problem where you put him in slot 1, the ball supers for 100 and or 1.2 million, let's just say Broly, or 1.8, 2 million, anything of that that nature. I'm not a mathematician, but if you take half of 2 million, that's a million. And if you do 200,000, okay, there's 800,000 left. So with damage reduction, I don't know if it's before he super attacks. I mean, he doesn't get. I mean, he gets defensive super, so like, he can take like 700,000, 800, 400, 400, 500, 600, 700,000. That's cool. He got the absorb Ki Blast super attacks. It's a damn shame that the game went away from Ki Blast and melee, and now there's a bunch of weapon supers, other supers. So that's not nearly as useful as it once. And hey, when he's before 34% less, he gets to see enemy super attacks so that he can die the moment they attack. So unit wasn't good day one. He's even worse now. Yeah, the day it came out, it was literally, dodge or die, and then by the time I transform, I'm deep enough into the fight to where I literally cannot tank with Android 17 because the bosses are hitting for too hard. Cool, love that. Terrible unit, even day one, not great. At number 7, we got Super Saiyan Gohan Youth. This is a banner unit that's supposed to be a support character. If you know anything about support characters are supposed to be good. This, you can, look at his attack, raise his attack as a support character. That's an interesting feature. I don't know why they put it, but they did. If it was greatly raised defense, hey, we might be able to use him. It's crazy because Supercharge could have really had him been good. But if we go over here to his passive, we will go ahead and see here. Recovers HP per turn. That's really good, especially at this time where we didn't really have units that could, recover. There weren't a ton of units like there are now where, you got the fusions who fucking transform and you get all your HP back and all that, or like Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, or yada yada. So it wasn't a lot of units at this time that could really get a lot of recovery. So this is real good, gain every time. It's good. The problem happens is if you look, you will notice that he's a raw stats defender as a banner unit, which has worse stats than Dokkan Fest, which means that since he's relying, we just ignore the fact that it's for every attack received, which is, that's what you really want to see on your support units that have very low stats, which meant that this Gohan's entire existence was getting one-shotted by everything. Could he take normals? Really depended on the normal now, didn't it? Slot 1, hell no. Slot 3, fuck no. Or slot 3 was pretty much your only option. Having him on rotation was guaranteed to get you killed. Problem is, he could probably not take any normals because he didn't get any buffs on his super attack, which meant he was reliant upon getting attacked. So he would have this 120,000 defense at the start of turn, be at 300,000 when he super attacks, and guess what? He has to get attacked more to get some more freaking defense. So he was at 400, 500,000 defense. If you were freaking lucky, you can't. He died. He died a lot. He's not good. He did nothing when he came out. He's a support character that dies. You recover HP, but guess what? It doesn't matter if you recover HP if my HP is permanently at 0 because you decided to get hit for 850,000. Unfortunately, I don't have 850,000 HP, especially when you're on my team, because you lower my HP stat. Shinos was not good the day it came out. If you don't believe me, ask the truth. He's very familiar upon this card. Next, we move on to number 6, Frost Final Form. Oh God. Leader skills are relevant. I guess for certain things it's not. Raises attack and defense. It's a good super effect. It's a solid super effect. Everyone loves that. You also get the bonus super attack where he's greatly raising his stats. That's good. 50% steal by chance to stun. Oh, with a Frieza Universal Survival Saga, you can run them on the team together. It's fine. It's whatever. The problem with Frost happens is if you scroll down to the passive. Well, I scroll down. It goes over to the passive. If you look at this passive, you might ask yourself, is this it? And the answer is yes. As you look at this passive, you notice there's no guard, no defense, Or there's defense, but there's no guard. There's no dodging. There's no damage reduction. There's nothing. You know what would really be helpful is because this team, right? The reason this also came the day it was Universe 6 really needed a slot 1 character. All the characters at the time, because the STR KO didn't EZA and the Tech Khalifa didn't EZA. So there was no slot 1 characters for the Universe 6 team. Everyone needed to super attack first. Or needed to super attack first. So when this unit was kind of be teased, like, oh, good. He hopefully he's a slot 1. If you like, I hope you read the passive. If you haven't, maybe you just already know it and you'll notice this character's not a slot 1 character. This character is a slot 2 or slot 3 character for a team that only has slot 2 or slot 3 characters. So he's already useless on his own team. And to cap it off, they seem to have built him more around damage, which I don't know why, because the Kale of the leader was really good at damage, especially at the time. She was quite effective at damage. So they didn't really need anyone who could damage. They needed someone who could take the hits. He couldn't take the hits. He 80% with an additional 30% from the support with 160% defense when attacking. 130, what, 300, 400, 500k defense after he supers? What? 2023. Came out in 2023. Not 2020, not 2019, where it's like, oh, 300k in 2019. Oh, wait, hold on. Whoa. You know, he might be a little busted. 2023, when bosses are hitting for millions. Well, I guess not millions yet, but are in the millions for hitting, and their normals are in the hundreds of thousands. Came out with a character who legitimately struggled with normals. It was true greatness, I tell you, true greatness. But not as great as number 5. Ice and Nova Shenron. GT boss leader skill. You see it. Raise attack and defense for 1 turn with their passive. It's good effect. No, it's not good. They're passive. Okay. Double orb changers. Double orb changers are much appreciated. But do you know how you make a double orb changer really, really useless? When you make them only good when they collect 1 key spear. 1 type of key spear. And do you know what makes it even worse? It's not only when it's 1 type of key spear, but when they're a slot 2 or 3 unit and they double orb change, so they're gonna struggle to get those type key spears because they're going to go to the other people on the team because they're going to change a lot of orbs on the field. There are only 5 orb. There's only 6 orb types on the field. Rainbow. So if they double orb change, that means there's only going to be 3 types of key spears on the field. So what you can collect becomes rather limited. And you're supposed to somehow save the orbs to get this unit for an effect. In 2023, like I said, red zone's already out. Bosses are hitting for 1 million plus. Normals are in the hundreds of thousands. Not like 100,000. We're talking about 700, 800,000 normals. Especially after the super attack, if they get the attack buff. 134% attack or defense with 3 more key spears. 4 more key spears obtained. 7 more tech key spears obtained. Now, I said earlier how, you mostly, to get the double super, you need 7 tech, which is encouraging you to get more. But it really is like 4 key spears, but really you just need 3. They made a unit that I don't know what the point of this unit is. There's no support. They double orb change. It seems they want him to. It seems like they want him to be like the Tech Sin Shinron, who came out, who was actually a pretty solid banner unit. But guess what? He was a rainbow orb changer, which is significantly better. But he's super effective against all types if the enemy is stunned, but the big bosses aren't stunned. You can't run him in Super Battle Road because 134 attack and defense at the start of fucking turn. He is at like 111,000 defense at the start of fucking turn. After he's super, he's at 200, 300,000 if you're lucky. When he supers, this unit, it shouldn't go in slot 1, 2, or 3. It should not be ran on a fucking team. This unit is terrible. It is. I do not understand. When they made this unit, it felt like they were deliberately like, fuck it. What is it on? GT bosses? GT boss. I'm going to come out with a video talking about how terrible GT bosses have been throughout the history of this goddamn game, because it's preposterous how bad it's. This unit did nothing. It came out, it was bad. It was a unit you didn't run. Only time you ever run this unit is when it's like a fucking goofy challenge where it's like, we need to nuke this boss with tech, and you pick up your tech and you double orb and you're cool. It was so bad, dude. He does nothing. He literally does nothing. He just dies. He gets a 2 million attack stat. Cool. But somehow, even though how bad Ice and Nova Shinron is, it's not as bad as number 4. Android 16. So Android / Second Time 120, when he came out 2019. 120 leads, and even in 2019 were not optimal, but like they were still reasonable to run to a certain degree. Super attack effect, just useless. At the time, I guess it wasn't too terrible, but like it was like, right? Like, because not many units came out with super attack effect, but that's fine. But we get to the passive. Now, this is 2019, so the passive is real short. What you'll notice is attack and defense, 120% right. Simple. High chance to guard. At this time, there's a lot of units. You can go back and look who, like, the STR Super Saiyan Goku was like, what was it, a medium chance to guard? And then he guards for 3 turns, or is that as easy? That guards for 3 turns after he guards. But like medium chance of guarding. STR Gohan, there was like several units who were like high chance, medium charge, great chance to guard and all that. So that wasn't used. Thing that made this unit so fucking bad was his second part of his passive, which essentially he didn't have a second part of his passive. Which is if there's a Super Saiyan Gohan or Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in the same turn, he gets an additional defense and he gets support. Now here's the problem. So the Android / Cell Saga category, as y'all might be familiar with, would you happen to guess the Android / Cell Saga leaders? Well, they were Intelligent Cell. Okay, so the 7 slots on the team. So 2 of them are taken up by Cell, right? Because you want to run the leader, and you can't run him on the Kamehameha or AGL. He doesn't fit on that. So the character they want you to run him with doesn't work. I guess you could run him with Int S Super Saiyan 2 Gohan at 90% to get less buffs. Sure, yeah, you can do that and run double 90% leader in a meta that had 150 plus. That will be effective in difficult content. So you have the 2 cells if you run him. So that's 3 out of 7, which means 4 slots. Which means you could run 2 Super Saiyan 2 Gohans, who if you read Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's passive, that when he transforms, even though I know it's a rarity, the AGL when he transforms really went to Super Saiyan Gohan or Goku, so you run to go. So that's 6 characters. That's 7 characters, right? Hold on, my math right. The 2 cells, the 2 Gohans, the Super Saiyan or the Super Saiyan Goku. And okay, let's throw in another Goku or whatever, another Android / Cell Saga. Or we have to throw in a big bad bosses for Cell because we want Cell to be optimal, right? So throw in a big bad unit. So now you have a team that shares no links with each other except when Gohan and Goku show up together. And this requires the unit to be attacking in the same turn, which means that theoretically you would put him in slot 1 and slot 2 would be Gohan. Do you happen to know how many links they share? If you guessed 1, you would be correct. Fierce Battle. That's it. No other links. So good. Now Gohan's link. So when Goku shows up in Gohan and Android 16, okay, Gohan gets a lot of his links and from the Goku, and he's probably going to attack harder. So what happens when Cell rolls around to this unit's rotation? The 3 of them will share a combined total of 1 link. Fierce Battle and legendary power between Cell and Gohan. I don't know, they'll share Kamehameha. I forgot. AGL Gohan has Kamehameha, even though he shouldn't have Kamehameha, because he literally does not perform Kamehameha before he transforms, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, no, the unit came out and literally could not be ran except on one team, and he did not link up with Gohan at all, and you could not run him on any other teams with him, which meant that if you ran him on any other team, he literally only had half the passive he had a passive that would never ever be used because you were not going to run them in the same turn because they shared no links. They only had one team, and if you were running Android / Cell Saga, you probably wanted to run a big bad bosses unit for Cell so that Cell could do some damage instead of having Cell be floating, because Cell as a floater does nothing. It's not like Cell. If Cell was a support unit, okay, floating him, he does not support. Floating him is not recommended. You're supposed to have him on rotation, but the unit came out and literally half of his passive did not exist. It wasn't because like, oh, the bosses are immune, you can get his passive somewhere. If you ran the teams correctly, you would never put his unit would never have half his passive. That's why he's number 4. Because even though he's a unit that didn't have half his passive, he still had a high chance to guard and attack and defense, but the high chance to guard, because he was better. The number 3 on the list, Super 17 GT bosses, and Super 17 is on the list once again. Shocking. So GT bosses are androids. Raises attack and defense for 1 turn. GT bosses are androids. Androids category, and even in 2021, not a terrible category. GT bosses, always a terrible category. And then his 18 key, you see, greatly lowers defense. Love to see no second effect on that 18 key. Love that, even in 2021. So remember how the Android 16 managed a high chance to guard? Well, if you read this, you know what's better than a high chance to guard? It's gaining 17% damage reduction the turn after you got hit. That's great. Loved it. 17% damage reduction, even in 2021, by the way, which there was no red zone, but was the Battle of Gods event out? Oh, right. The Battle of Gods event was out. And if I remember, how hard were some of the bosses hitting? Oh, for like 1.1 million. Normals were 800K. Cool. Great. And how did he fare in there? Terrible, you say? You don't say. So here's the thing. You saw his leader skill. You remember GT bosses? So a funny thing about him is if you read this passive, you will notice nothing there about GT bosses. You will notice androids and Target Goku, which androids and Target Goku rather overlap rather nicely. So essentially, they gave GT bosses a leader that does nothing, that does not work well with GT bosses. I know, spectacular, amazing. How could they think of such intricate design of coming out with a leader that does not like the unit it's supposed to lead? I know, crazy. Even though the link set is, Big Bad Bosses is ran by a lot of GT bosses. You got the Shenrons that typically come out with Big Bad Bosses. Then you got, or I guess specifically Shenron, or Omega and Sin are the ones who typically come out with Big Bad Bosses. You got Baby who comes out with Big Bad Bosses. You got Metal Rildo with Big Bad Bosses. You know who really doesn't have Big Bad Bosses? Who should? The androids. They have Big Bad Bosses. So he doesn't link well with them. And his passive, this androids and Target Goku, I don't know if you guys know this, but these two, aside from the fact that it doesn't even count him, so if you ran him on pure GT bosses and had no other androids, he legitimately would only have 170% attack and defense. He literally wouldn't have 3/4 of his passive if he ran him on GT bosses. Like he's a leader of true master craftsman of genius. So you would have to run him on an android / Target Goku category to get 64%. Get them 64% statistical boost. That was cool. No, it wasn't. It was terrible. What slot did you run this unit in? There was literally slot 1, no, slot 2, no, slot 3, no. I don't know where you're supposed to run this unit. The after attack receiving effect is an effect we have not seen, unless I'm mistaken, we have not seen since. Just like his last, every attack receive high chance. I think he's the only character in this fucking game with a high chance to receive key after getting. Every other person is a guaranteed, where it's like, get 3 key when you launch an attack, get 3 key when you dodge an attack, or 3 key when you receive an attack. He's the only one with a 50% chance you might gain key if you get attacked. Have not seen it since. This unit was bad that they came out. His design made no sense. He was truly terrible. And of course, I got lucky enough and pulled him day 1, and I tried him day 1, and oh, buddy, guess how it went? I was like, oh, this unit's not good. This unit is not good because GT Boss is sucky. You had to run him on androids, and my androids team wasn't too bad. But guess who was the weak link? This motherfucker. Not good. He just wasn't good. He just wasn't good the day it came out. He's not good now. Hopefully, it's Easy A, which will be coming out probably the next year, considering that the GT Heroes units, the Goku and Vegeta came out with, got Easy A. I'm hopeful that he's going to get his Easy A soon. And they're going to make him significantly better. He's GT Bosses. He's going to be dog shit. Let's be honest here. Even though he's dog shit and literally one of the worst units that ever came out, even the day he came out, he's not as bad as number 2. Another tech character. Is this 4 in a row? Is this 5 in a row? Boy, Extreme Tech, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. At one point in time, they seem to really hate Extreme Tech. And the leader, Super Saiyan 3 Broly, Extreme Tech 3 Key, yada yada. You see the passive. You know the passive. It's a 120% leader skill because it came out all the way back in 2018. Super attack effect, greatly lowers defense. At the time, it's kind of like whatever. Getting a plus 50% attack on your super attack was rare at this time, so benefit out. And we go to passive, very basic passive. It's a 2018 as hell passive, 100% attack. For every key spray obtained, attack plus 12%, defense minus 10%. Do you understand in 2018, the words were uttered multiple times because Goku and Vegeta came out, Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. And I remember there's a big argument, which one's better, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. And I remember people like Super Saiyan 4 Goku's better. And then the people who were like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta's better, like, well, his defense is better. And the words were uttered that cannot be uttered now, which was, defense is useless in Dokkan. It means nothing. Your defense means nothing. This unit came out and people saw lower defense and were like, ugh. Do you understand for a game where everyone's like, offense is the only thing that matters, for you to have that and people still be like, ooh. I remember YouTubers summoning on him or kind of like, like, oh, he hits real hard, but I'm not sure about that minus 10% defense. I summoned him on my GP account at the time, and of course, I think I pulled him in like fucking 2 multis. And of course, I have him rainbowed on my global. I fucking easy ate him, never used him. So this unit was terrible the day he came out because he lost defense, which even at this time was bad. This was before Super Battle Road, right? Even in Dokkan events, because at this time, Dokkan events were still not the easiest thing in the world. They were not auto farmed like they are now. You just click auto, you can blink, and your team cleared it with full HP because your team supered every time. No, this was still a bit rougher. It was still like you got to be cautious. So the fact that you couldn't put him in slot 1, you put him in slot 2, God forbid you go against any int type, because next thing you know, they're like, the Dokkan events normal attacks are 25k, but your fucking Broly has 1,000 defense, so you're taking 24k every goddamn attack. And what made it worse, what really made him worse, what pushed him past Super 17 was Super Battle Road coming out and him being the only tech leader if you did not have LR Goku Black. And you had to run this motherfucker. It was impossible. He couldn't. The enemies in that event were supering for 300,000. He could not take normals. Their normals were like 100,000. He couldn't take normals. He couldn't take super attacks. And if you didn't have the Goku Black, you would have to run 2 of this motherfucker. And it was impossible. I'm not going to say it's impossible. You had to get super lucky. You had to hope that he one-shotted one of them, where you got orbs good enough to one-shot one of them, and then he double supers and kills the other one. You better hope. Like, it was like the luck you would have to use him with something. He like no defense capabilities whatsoever. And it wasn't like he raised his attack to hit harder. This unit was so bad. Like, to come out in an offensive era in Dokkan and people be like, ugh, losing defense is what sticks out of my mind. Like, you cannot be like, oh, we're in an all-offensive league, and people are like, yeah, we got the worst. I have the worst defense in the game, and people are like, oh no, oh god. I think I'm gonna pass. I think I'm gonna take Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who hits harder than you, and at least has 30k defense. It's crazy to think about 30k defense. People are like, that's respectable. 30k. He raises defense by 60%. When the Super Saiyan gets like the 50k defense. It's funny. But not as funny as number 1. We all know him. We all never use him. Say it with me now. We all know who number 1 clearly is. Raditz. Raditz might be the most poorly designed character they have ever released in the game's history, and I truly do not understand what the point is. You can see his passive. Saiyan Saga Pure Saiyan. Saiyan Saga, even at the time. I mean, they were releasing some units at the time, so it wasn't like truly terrible. But Pure Saiyans, it's always a good category. Because there's always going to be new Gokus and new Vegetas. So the Pure Saiyans category is good. Space Traveling Warriors category, bonus, you know, you get your Turleses and early Saiyan Day Vegetas. Super attack effect raises defense. Great. Active skill, guaranteed stun, greatly raises. Okay, cool, that's fine, reasonable enough. The problem with Raditz really comes when you read the passive. 150% attack and defense to start a turn is always fine. But then he has the rest of the shit that's written, and you're like, bro, who the fuck writ this? Like, it feels like 3 different people got this and was like, oh, his super attack effect is an AoE. Okay. So if it's an AoE, we want to make him built towards world tournament and multi-target. Another person was like, yeah, you said he was a single target, right? Okay, when facing only one enemy, he gets 50% when attacking with telemarquee. So his defense, if you're facing one enemy after he supers, he's at like 300k defense. In 2022, when Red Zone's already been released, cool. And high chance of performing a crit. You're like, oh, that's great. When enemy's HP is 50% or less, why? So he gets to the so which means at the start of fight, when you are facing one enemy and it's at full health, he's ostensibly just getting 50% attack and defense when supering. If he is facing one enemy and that enemy is at 100% HP, he is ostensibly getting 50% attack and defense when super attacking. That's it. Because attack and high chance of performing a crit, the enemy has to be below 50%. Which means that in 2022, they released a unit that was start a turn one enemy, he's at like 2 million, 1.7 million, 1.8. If you ain't got no dupes, he's probably not even at 2 million. And so you're like, okay, one enemy is pretty bad. It's pretty. What about multiple enemies? He has an AoE super. When facing 2 or more enemies, defense plus 150%. Okay, so they took away his attack buffs. Cool. Performs a critical hit within a turn after receiving an attack. Brother, what fucking slot do they think you're about to put? They were like, okay, it's 300 attack and defense. Put him in slot 1, so he gets guaranteed crits on the AoE. Guaranteed crits on AoE. That's really good. That's really good. You know, but it's bad. It's when you have 300, 280, 270k defense, and you try to put someone in slot 1 in 2022 with no guard, no damage reduction, no dodge, no slot 1 bonus, so that he could take from STR Broly stage 1 of the Broly eating that came out with Red Zone the first wave, so he can take what, like 400k per normal. I don't put him in slot 1 so he can die. 2 or more enemies, he gets no attack buffs. He just has 150% attack and greatly raises attack. So he's at like 1.5 million. And then just like to put the sugar coating on top of this, bro, they too key for delivering who the fuck is he going to kill? Who were they like, oh, it's like clearly the person who got this last part was like, oh man, guaranteed crits. They clearly must have saw when there was like 2 or more enemies. They're like, oh, he's guaranteed crit. They clearly didn't see after receipt. They just said performs a critical hit, 2 or more enemies. Oh my God. He's going to deliver so many final blows. 2 key. Yeah, give him 2 key. He's going to start off with 12 keys. It's going to be great. No, like at least when they gave it to STR Rose was giving support to the entire team. He could hit a few, he was up there like 3-4 million. Super attack, like, he could get like a reasonable high attack. My man was at 1.7 million attack, and they were like, yeah, he's going to be delivering final blows. Brother is getting his back blown out from jump. Slot 1, 2, 3. It didn't matter where you put Raditz. Raditz is going to die for you. It's only worse today. It was bad when he came out. When he came out, it was legitimately like, damn, so what do you do with this unit? And the answer was die. No, the answer was don't summon, don't pull this unit, don't have this unit. I wouldn't be surprised if 90% of the Raditzes that are owned are unawakened. I wouldn't be surprised if they're all SSR because they'd be more useful as SSRs than actual TURs. Like, it's crazy to think that the tech Raditz is better than this Dokkan Fest Raditz. It's actually bad because at least the tech Raditz has 50% damage reduction when 2 or more enemies show up. At least he has stun, so you can run. You did run him in Super Battle Road, but dude, yeah, there's never, as the True said, there's never gonna be another Raditz because this is like a trolling level of bad, where it's just like, how do you make a unit that's supposed to be designed for one thing but does nothing? Oh, it's supposed to be used for to deal with AOE, like to deal with multiple units, but he doesn't do it. It's really spectacular. It's just battle round. Yeah, no. So yeah, Raditz is the king of the worst day one units to ever come out. He was bad the moment he came out, and he hasn't been good ever since. Which is spectacular. Yeah, I mean, all the units have been bad the day they came out. I guess the Int, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, Goku and Vegeta, I guess they were when they came out, but like bad. All of them were just bad. I mean, I guess the Trunks was like, oh, but like Super Trunks was really good. It was just like, yeah, nah, it was just when I think about it, all the lists, Super Trunks is above the Ints because the Intelligent Super did not have a restriction, so you could run them on anything and not have to worry about having more of a certain character. The Trunks, like, you gotta worry about the restrictions. It was bad. Banner, they were just all like needed to be. But Brad's, man, he's the king of them all. Like, all of them have like flaws, but like there's at least something. Raditz has nothing. That's a lot. The top 3 literally have nothing. Like, they have nothing. Oh man, yeah, no, they but there's a lot they come out. We're like, oh, these are the best units but these are so bad. It's so bad. Yeah, no, this is gonna conclude the video. So Raditz is the king of worst day one units and will probably be for the rest of eternity. That's all I gotta say. Hope you enjoyed this one. I catch you in the next one. I'm gone. Peace.